waiting. Good afternoon. Welcome to live shopping here at Highlight Crafts. We've got our second Scan and Cut show of the day, and this is where we're going to jump in feet first and start on this bigger project. So get your pad and your piece of paper that I told you about this morning. You're going to need to take some measurements down, and then we can have a really good play as we go along, which will be fun, won't it? So let's get the housekeeping out of the way first of all, but just before that I'm going to introduce you to the team. So we've got Emily on cameras this hour. Hello. Back from Cornwall, Devon? Back from Devon, had a week in Devon last week. We've got Duo in our producer's seat today. We've got Andrew, who it's his last day in the office till February. Oh, we said that quick, didn't he? I was making sure I got that right. Till February. And we've got Lily, producer in training, in the hot seat today as well. Right, shall we crack on and have a look at what we've got on the show? Well, let's do housekeeping. I know it's boring, but we've got to do it because we get new people every time. Right, live shopping, what's it all about? Well, you can watch us on YouTube, so you can put us on your TV. That's what I do when I'm at home. Then you can also watch us on Facebook and Instagram, or our website, which is highlightcrafts.com. Now, if you're going to shop with us on either of our social platforms, we're going to show you a product, and that product will have a code. And all you need to do is type the word shop and then that code into the comments underneath the video, and that will put that product into that basket for you. Okay? Then we'll get a direct message. And when you open that message, you will see a link. Click on that link and that will take you to highlightcrafts.com, where I need you to log into your account and then check out. Okay, it's important that you log in first because then you get your club member benefits. So please make sure that you're logging into your account. If you haven't got an account with us yet, please open one because it's free, which to be fair you would expect, but it means that you will get extra discount on every order, loyalty points for every £1 that you spend, and on a basket spend over £35 after discounts, you will also get free postage, which is great, right? All the good stuff. Now, if you prefer to shop directly on the website, you can also do that. So go to highlightcrafts.com, click watch live, press play, and as soon as that show starts to stream, all the items will appear down the right hand side of your screen. You then simply select the ones that you wish to purchase, and they will appear at the top of your screen in the form of a little red shopping bag. When you're ready to log in and check out, click on that bag and that will take you through that process. Now, if you're a bit forgetful, like me, well, that's a bit of an understatement actually. If you're forgetful and you don't remember to watch the shows, just type the word live into the comments underneath the video, and that gives us permission to send you a little notification before we go live so you don't miss anything. And if you really want to get ahead, which a lot of you do now, which is why we come on air with big stock updates, you can shop ahead from midnight, which is great. So there you go, that's the housekeeping done. Right, first things first, I want to talk to you about the Scan and Cut deal that we've got on at the moment. So we've had it on with the Tatterley subscription deal for a while with that all that content included. But yesterday we're in a production meeting and I said, you know what, sometimes it doesn't matter how much you bundle with a product. If you haven't got that amount of money, you haven't got that amount of money. So I said, could we knock another £50 off? So this, the recommended retail for this from Mother is £599.99. Okay, we're knocking £150 off that and bringing it to you at £449.99. Okay, now that's before your discount and your points. So what I want to do is just talk you through the numbers because this is a cracking deal. So first of all, £449.99 if you're in the bottom tier, so tier 1, where you get 5% off. So you might be a brand new customer today. You might have tuned in and thought, what's all this Scan and Cut about? And you decide to buy yourself a machine. You will get 5% discount, which equates, it brings the price down to £425.45. Then you'll get points back for every £1 that you spend. So those points equate to £21.27. They'll go back onto your account in a couple of weeks' time. That brings the whole price down to £404.18. But because I'm cheeky, and the worst that people can say is no, not only did I ask for us to knock the price down further, but I asked if we could include 20 sheets of our black card. Now, this was new in last week. It is black and you can use it as black, but it's not coal black. It's like a very, very expensive dark grey wool suit. It's a beautiful colour. It has a slight, it's not texture as in touch texture, but you can see in the cardstock that you get these almost like striations going through it. It's a fabulous card. I love it. Shop bundle will get this included with that ScanNCut for you. So that's what you're getting, your machine and your card. After we knocked the price of that off, and I did take the discount off to make it fair, so I knocked 5% off the price, that black card is worth £14.24 after your discount. So £389.94 is what you're going to pay for my favourite machine. There's no doubt about it, because it has that bigger screen, it has that content, and it also has those accessories in there too. So let me tell you about that. So in your box, you're going to get a low tack mat and a standard mat. And you're going to use those literally till they drop to bits, because you're going to re-tack them with your stencil glue. There is also 13 free classes on YouTube that you can access now to teach you how to use it. And then every Tuesday we do our ScanNCut shows, unless I'm off. In that case, we don't tend to. So those, now you're going to get your full auto blade connectivity. So you're going to get your full auto blade. You also then get your fabric auto blade. Now that blade is blinking brilliant. I have cut the tattered lace chandelier out of fabric with that blade, and you wouldn't have even seen where it cut. It's that good. Then you're also going to get your pen holder. You get 2 erasable pens, a water-soluble one and an air erasable, because there are also 100 quilt blocks built into the memory of this machine that you can have in all different sizes. You're also then going to get 6 drawing pens. I know there's 5 on the board. Don't know where the black one's gone. But you get 6 drawing pens, your stylus and your spatula. You also then get a high contact adhesive sheet if you want to cut fabric without stabilising it. And you also get some iron-on stabiliser as well. Now the content, on top of those 100 quilt blocks, you get 17 full fonts and 1,303 shapes, images, icons, borders, phrases, all sorts, pre-installed into the memory that you can resize a minimum of 250 different sizes. That's the versatility of having a ScanNCut. And to get the SDX after your tier 1 discount, obviously if you're in tier 2 you're going to get a bigger discount, but tier 1 discount under £400 delivered is phenomenal. So if you're somebody that's been thinking about it and I'm in an R-in, that's a cracking deal. Absolutely cracking deal. Or maybe you have a CM machine and you're looking to upgrade to an SDX and you already had the tattered lace subscription, so you didn't want that content again. Now you've got that deal. I can't believe I can bring that in at that price. Right, let's get stuck into the SVG files, because this is one of the file formats that the ScanNCut will read. So we launched this, well, to be fair, Diane did a little sneak peek on this in the Sunday supplement and I used it on Saturday. But today we are introducing you to Cool Jewels. And they're called Cool Jewels because they're little snow people and they're decorated with lots of little diamantes like jewels. Aren't they cute? So you've got Flurry, you've got Frosty, and you've got Snowy on here. Okay. You're going to get all of those. You're going to get them in all your artwork, your reverse artwork, your 3 different sizes, your decoupage layers, your matte layers that have already got a hole in the top so you can make them into tags. How cool is that? I think that's fabulous. And back to back, you can now do that because you've got that reverse reflection, and all your detail designs, your detail lines, which means you can draw them, emboss them, foil them, all of those different things. So you're getting those. Then you're going to get some of the nicest scenes. They're fabulous, aren't they? I think these are lovely. If you've got the box frames as cutting files that we brought you a few weeks ago now, these are going to look lovely inside frames. And these are this is the artwork that we're going to use to make the project. So if you want to follow along and make what I make, then you're going to need this. So you're getting all of your scenes. You're also going to get your backgrounds that look like lots of pearls. They're super cool, like your flat back pearls. They're fabulous, and you get them in 8 different colourways. You've also got your digi-stamps in here as well. So you've got your 3 little characters as your digi-stamps. You've also got your reflections artwork for your dies, which, to be fair, you're not going to use for this, but you will get your reflections artwork for your SVG files. And then you've also got these 3 little characters. Now, these are going to be brilliant. So if you're thinking, right, I love that, Mel, I love the ScanNCut, I love the fact that we get the reflections. However, I want to make that one that big, and I can't do that in my reflection. Then what you're going to do is do this in Minecraft Studio, make it the size that you want it to be, make a note of the size because it will show you at the bottom of the screen, and then resize that reflection, that individual shape, to cut round that. So there's loads of ways that you can use this. Minecraft Studio and ScanNCut are like that. They're a marriage made in heaven. Right, if you want that, Shop Jewel, $14.99. Sorry, Lily, I didn't read what was on your board because I was talking. Lovely, thank you. Right, now then, stickers. We're a bit obsessed with stickers here at Highlight Crafts at the moment because we've got our own sticker making machine and it's blinking brilliant. It is fabulous, I'm not going to lie. Now then, a little bit of a heads up that I found out last night that we probably weren't supposed to tell you, but Stephanie did it, so we're all right. Is we have got these stickers on a 3 for 2 at the moment. Now I know you know that bit. The bit you might not know is that it ends at the end of this month. So if you want to get your stickers now where you buy 2 and you get 1 free, you need to do that. You need to put all 3 in your basket. So go onto the website. There's a brand called Highlight Lux, like luxurious, because they are, and you can pick and choose your stickers. But these are brilliant. Now, I'm going to say they're brilliant for ScanNCut users, but they're also really good for die cutters as well, because when you buy a die, you buy a die in one size unless they're nested. Now you've got lots of different sizes in the forms of your stickers as well, which are great. So if you want this, shop cool, $12.99. Right, let's have a look at these bears next, because these are super cute. We'll try and do some little girl bears for you as soon as we can. We need to just work that out with our graphics team, etc. But look at those for stickers, aren't they fabulous? So I'm going to do the stickers on this one first. Shop transfer, $12.99 is going to get you these little characters all dressed up. Aren't they gorgeous? And they're super, super easy to use. And they look really shiny, almost like they're wet or they've been aqua stoned. That doesn't go when you peel the top coat off because the sticker is shiny too. So you're getting a really good quality product here. And that printer, I mean, I don't think it will ever happen, but I'm desperate for them to scale it down to this, because the ScanNCut is just from a big plotting machine. It's just a scaled down version. Imagine if they could do that. I know, I'm on it. I'll keep nagging them. It won't happen. It'll be too expensive. But wouldn't that be fabulous? Anyway, 3 for 2 on your stickers. Melanie Wittering. Right, very cozy. It's going to get you. It's because I've talked all morning. I can't now put the brakes on. Right, we've got Rusty, Teddy and Wally here. Look at these 3. Aren't they fabulous? Like Compo, Clegg and Foggy, aren't they, out of Last of the Summer Wine? Right, same thing again. You're going to get all your artwork, your reverse artwork. These are brilliant for gift tags. One of our design team had done these as gift tags. They looked fabulous. So you're going to get all of that. Then you're going to get your artwork, and you're going to get the second colourway with your Minecraft Studio. This code for this is Shop Digital, and it's $14.99. You're getting your digi-stamps. Top tip for colouring fur. Colour your image like you normally would, or do it in lots of dots, like pointillism. Add your different colours in, your light and shade. take a face cloth, put a little bit of your blending solution on, your blending pen, press it down and lift it off and you get instant fur. It's really clever. So that's for those. Then we've also got these scenes for you as well. So some quite grown-up scenes in here as well, which I like. And this works perfectly with one of our collections from last year that we've brought you recently. I love that village. I think that's fabulous. You could do a whole canvas, couldn't you, with that along the wall? And that's great. And then you also get your plaids or your tartans or whatever you want to call them. Shop Digital, $14.99. Now then, shall we talk vinyl? Because we're going to be cutting, well, we cut vinyl at the end of the show. I'm about to show you that afterwards. It's blinking brilliant. Now, the vinyl starter kit has gone, Andrew. Is that right? Completely gone. Got it back in stock. Gone. It's all right. I'm in the meeting this afternoon. We'll talk about that. That'll happen. Right, now then, let's talk about vinyl, because this vinyl is fabulous. It's really good quality. And that's not just me saying that. We've had customers messaging in throughout this morning's show to say how good this is. Now, Shop Casa is going to get you everything I'm about to show you for $17.99 before your discount. Please don't miss out on this vinyl. You're going to get 10 sheets of your holographic, which is fabulous. So you're getting all of these, 10 sheets, 12 by 12, plus a bonus transfer sheet. Vinyl's great, but it does create a bit of static. Look at that for a wicked green. That's fabulous. Then you've got your red in there. You've then got almost like a flamingo pink. You've then got like a goldy green, which is fabulous, and your teal. And this is your bonus transfer sheet. So you're going to get all 10 of those, plus you're going to get 15. We've just been talking about those chalkboard markers next door. Silly price they were. Vinyl. 15 sheets of matte black vinyl plus your free transfer sheet, and then a 15 sheets of your white vinyl, which is the one that we used this morning to cut all those snowflakes out. Shop Casa, $17.99, so 40 sheets across all 3 packs plus your 3 transfer bonus sheets. Shop Casa, $19.99. Right, there's a couple of things I need to go to before we start this project. One of them is construction weight acetate. Now, this is really thick. This is a weighty acetate, and it is fabulous for apertures. It's also fabulous for your shaker cards. It's also fabulous to create windows with, and it cuts brilliantly on your ScanNCut. Now, you do need to make sure that your mat's nice and sticky, because you're putting plastic on plastic with a moving blade and a moving platform. So make sure that you re-tack your mat first and then let it do its thing. Just let it run and it will cut it as many times as it needs to. It doesn't even bother about the density of this. It cuts it like a dream. So Shop Construction, $11.99 will get you 10 sheets of that. Now, the other things I want to go to is your artificial snow. You're going to get 100 grams of this. Top tip, cut it with a pair of scissors. Don't open the bag like that, because you'll end up covered in it. How do I know that? Correct. So you're going to get 2 of those, which is 100 grams in total. Shop double, $7.98. That's going to do you everything Christmas. But in shaker cards, it's lovely and it's light, so it's not going to add any weight to it. The other thing I would like you to consider are your shaker domes. You're going to get 12 of them for $9.99. We're going to put one of these on the front of the book like that. Then one more thing and then we'll go to demo. This is your glass porcelain paint. Now, this is unusual to have something from Cadence on a ScanNCut show, but this makes a brilliant frosty window or snowflakes. So it's not thick and chunky, and it doesn't have lots of bits in it, but it gives you that frosty look. So if you want something subtle, that's brilliant. Shop Frost, $5.99. Right, come on, let's go and get stuck in. Cool, let's go. Oh, I just wanted to show you this too. So let me move all this stuff out the way, then Emily can get into the screen. Look at this. This is the waist from those snowflakes that I left cutting at the end of the show. And you know I left them cutting because I went next door to be with Jane. Look at the precision. That's the waste. And then look on here, you might not even be able to see it on here. If I take it off the back in here, it might be better. There are all your teeny, teeny, tiny snowflakes. Look at those, cut with that vinyl blade. It's phenomenal. Okay, lovely. Right, let's get stuck into this project, shall we? This is exciting. So, first of all, what we're going to make? Well, we're going to make this concertina card, or a concertina book, basically. So I've got it started, but I'm going to talk you through how you make the files to make this. This is a really clever construction because it creates like a dovetail joint at the corner. You'll have seen me do this before, I'm sure, if you bought one of the classes. We've done this, but I thought, you know what, it's a while since we've done one and this would be perfect for this. The other thing I like about this construction mechanism is you know, sometimes when you make a tunnel card or a concertina and it splays out at the sides and you've got to start strapping it all together, it doesn't do it with this. So I wanted to teach you first of all how to make the file, and then we'll go through how you line up all your papers, etc. So I'm going to do it with I've got a really itchy nose, I don't know why. I'm going to start off with the concertina panel. Okay, so we're going to put our machine on and we're going to work. Kick that counter, Emily, and the kick in the bucket. Right, we're going to find a pattern first of all. So when you go into your borders in here and you go right down to the bottom and then up a couple of pages, you'll start to find perforation and straight lines. If you haven't got one, there will be a video on YouTube showing you how to create a perforation line in Canvas Workspace. So I'm going to select that one, okay, and I'm just going to set it on the map first of all. Then I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to rotate it by 90 degrees so it's vertical. Right, now you need to decide how big you want that book to be. So I went for 190 mil, I believe. So let me check, because you can write these down. Let's have a look. So from there to there, yes, 190 millimeters. Okay, you can do it whatever size you want, doesn't matter. So let's resize that first of all. So we'll take that to 190. And then you need to decide how many layers you want in your book, because that will determine how many concertina lines you use. Now, I just guessed yesterday and I ended up with one extra, but I'm not worried about that because that just gives me a wider piece to support the back, okay? So if I open this out, you'll see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if I do 11 on this one, in fact, I'll just do 12 because I don't mind it having that there. Now, I know some of you like score lines rather than perforation lines, I know, but for this particular project, it's better to use a perforation line. You always have to use a perforation line in a valley anyway, because as you fold that card into itself, it will pull at that card that you've made the score line with. So I don't mind this, and I also think it gives it that little bit more of a rustic look. Plus, you've got to work quite hard. Well, you don't have to work hard, but you've got to put quite a bit of pressure on to get that dovetail to sit. So I find a perforation weakens the card less than a score line. So first things first, we know now that we want 11 of them. So I'm going to go to my number and I'm going to ask it to do 11 because it will include the one that's already on there. Okay, let's say 11 or 12. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go, 12 of them, and press OK. Right, now they're all in a random diagonal line. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to arrange these exactly the way we want them. So if I go into that button there, let me just show you that again. So next to you where you scan in your reflections, this button is called your arrangement function. If you click on that, you get 3 options. The top option will rotate those shapes any which way it needs to get the most out of your cardstock. So we don't want that. This one will rotate them up to and including 180 degrees. And this one will keep them all in a straight line. Okay, so if I press that one now, you can see I've got all of those perforation lines, but they're far too close together. Okay, so if you go back into your spanner, you have something called pattern interval, and that's the distance between the shapes. So one being the closest together, that it will set it with that arrangement function, and as the number gets bigger, so does the distance in between. So we're going to set that to 4. Okay, and then when I press OK again, nothing changes, but when I then tap that again, it then puts them all with that equidistance between them, which is exactly what we want. So the next thing we're going to do is group all of that together. So we're going to edit that selected one line. We want to multiple select everything on the mat, press OK, go back to editing the object and group that together. Okay, so now we've got that panel. Okay, so that's all my score lines, but what we need is a piece at the back that's wider to be able to glue that, because this is all going to fold in. But if I show you on this will make more sense. This is all going to fold in like this, and this gives you that band at the back. So you've already got that support within that. So what we're going to do is make the rectangle that's going to go around it wider and just a fraction taller, because you don't want the perforation lines to go to the top and bottom, because then they'll perforate, which is what they're meant to do. You want a very slight distance at the top and bottom, and you want a wider width at each side. Okay, so this will give us the size that we need. So if I find out what size this is, that's 190 high by 132 wide. So if I make that, let's say if we had another 40 mil on that, if I make it 230 high, no, 190, let's do 2 mil top and bottom. So 194 mil high. In fact, let's do that. Let's add, because I'll have forgotten those numbers by the time I come back to them. I know what I'm like. So let's add, go into your patterns, go into your basic shapes, select your square and set it on the mat. If you resize that before you set it, it'll tell you it won't fit. So put it on smaller first and then reset it. The other thing I'm going to do is take my pattern interval back down to 1, because even if you're bringing shapes on, can you see how it set it inside of that outer line? It will do that automatically if your pattern interval is more than 1. Okay, so we're going to, that was 190, so let's make this 194, because I don't need much more than that. So to do that, we're going to go to our resize. I'm going to do it one at a time just because I haven't got a pen to write it down. So let's make it 194 high, and then this is 132 wide. So I'm going to add 20 mil on either side. Okay, so we'll do that at 172. So we're now going to make that 172 wide. Remember to unlock that aspect ratio, otherwise it will scale in the correct ratio with the height and width. And what we then need to do that is put that in the middle of there. So to do that, we press OK, we multiple select everything on the mat, we press OK, directional arrow buttons because we're moving the shapes, alignment, and we're going to align it centrally vertically and centrally horizontally. And you should have a wider piece at the side on the left and right, and a very narrow border at the top and bottom, because all that will do is stop it perforating. Okay, so then when you've done that, you can group that together and you can save that file, so you never need to do that again. Unless you want to make one that is wider, the in between the perforation lines is wider, so the V, the concertina, is deeper, you can use that. Because we made it bigger, the perforation line will just shrink down. And you'll end up, you want 4 of those. So front, back, top, bottom, left and right. And this is what it will look like. So I've left that one in because this is what I did. So it doesn't matter, it just gives us a little bit more space. And then starting at your shorter end, so the one that's got the narrower distance, you're going to fold mountain, valley, all the way along like that. Okay, and then that last one, just leave it as it is. I don't mind that. This is what it is. So you'll have 4 of those, okay? So the next thing you need to do is take 2 of these. Remember that the wider bit is going to be the back. And if I just show you, in fact, if I take these out, I might regret that in a minute, but you've got to see how it works, haven't you? I'll show you how to line all those up. What you're going to do is fold it so it's concertinaed. And I use my scraper to make sure that those lines are burnished properly, okay? And then you're going to decide, now on the bottom one, I've gone outside of this with the wider one. So that is on the outside, which is why it's showing at the bottom. So let's make it neat. We're going to cover it over, but we might as well get used to doing things properly. So that's going to go on the outside. And then each one of those little V's is going to drop back into that concertina. So your flat piece goes on the outside, and then every V that's open gets a V that tucks inside. And then you fold it like that. You squeeze it, and you just rock it backwards and forwards. Get that side out of the way. There we go, like that. Now, you're going to put this piece on, obviously, when you've done the other 3, because this is the top bit when you've got all your papers in. But this will then line up and create the strongest concertina you've probably ever used. It's brilliant, this mechanism. It really is clever. And it just means that you can get, look at that, look how it holds that stability. It's fabulous, isn't it? So you get that concertina look and feel to your project, okay? So if you do your bottom and put one side in, then glue it and let it dry. Then do your other side, glue that, let it dry. Don't try and fight with it while it's still wet, because it'll drive you crazy, right? So next one up here, we'll then close that lot over. So what we need to do now is work out the size of our pieces of paper that are going to go inside, because what we're going to do is build a tunnel, if you like. So you're going to choose one of your papers, and then we're going to make this work. So because now you have added in 2 sides and a base, this might not measure exactly what you think it'll measure, so measure it with a ruler, okay? That's my top tip. Now mine measures, because if you look here, you've got that extra depth there. Can you see that extra width? Because it won't go in and match perfectly because it's going into a V, and you can't put card inside a card that's got a V in it. Does that make sense? It has to give something. So let's measure this. So this is now 194. So it's slightly bigger than it was, by 194, but we haven't got the top bit on yet. So I'm going to add another couple of mil on. So if we do 195 square, that's perfect for what we need. Now somewhere on here I had that, and I bet I've lost it. Not that one. Not that one. Yeah, it is here. So once you've done all your concertina and all your papers are in, that is then going to cover over the back. It's not that one on it. It's this one. Like that. Okay, and that'll cover up all your workings. It'll be nice and neat and tidy. So let's do the next bit where I show you how to set up the apertures. Okay, so we have got one full one, and then I've got, think about this, largest one at the front. So the next one is going to go over there. The next one is going to go on top, and these are going to slide into those concertinas like that. And then you've got that one. So let me show you how to set that up, and then I'm going to do a recap because we get people joining all the time. So print off several of the same paper, and you've got lots to choose on there. There's lots of different ones, or it could be something completely different, right? It could be a photograph if you wanted it to be. So we're going to take it. Have I got more of those than I have of this? It doesn't really matter. Right, let's do this. So we now know that we want to cut a square with a circle in it, or whatever shape you decide you want to do. Now I've done that, I've lost my scraper. Where's my scraper gone? Your pocket, Melanie, where it lives. So to measure this bit, we're going to measure this again. Now it's not going to go right into that V. So we need to give it a little bit of grace. So if I go from about there to about there, I'm going to say 180. In fact, let's see what I actually did. That'll be interesting. Okay, I made it a bit wider. I did 188. Okay, so 188 square. So we'll save that. We can just save that onto the USB so we've got it. Then we're not forgetting that we've got it. And press OK. Right, that's done. Press home and delete that pattern. Then we're going to go into our square and we're going to make that 185. Now, because there's nothing else on the mat, I can do that here. Okay, so we'll take that up to 185 and we'll set that on the mat. Now, you'll have to measure these depending on what size you decide to do. Okay, then I'm going to add and I'm going to bring in the circle, and I chose the circle because they're snow people and they're made from snowballs and balls around, hence that. So we're going to bring on a circle. I'm going to set that in the middle of there first of all to see what it looks like. So we're going to multiple select everything on the mat, press OK. We're moving the shapes. So we're then going to align it centrally vertically, centrally horizontally. Now remember, you're going small to large. So once you've got to that stage, if you group that, you can then scan in your paper. Okay. So to do that, we're going to open up the machine, we're going to load the mat, and we're going to scan this in. All right, let's take that vinyl blade out. So from here, this little scanner here, next to your arrangement function, this one, you're going to scan this paper in. Now the key to this is not to, or you can unload your mat, I'm going to show you. Just make, right, so rewind those words, start again. When you're loading your mat, first of all, I need you to take note of where you're lining it up on your mat. So while you're lining it up right to that left-hand edge, is it straight at the top? Because you need to know these things. Then I'm going to bring this down to here and I'm going to position it in that picture where I want it to be. And I want it to be about there. And then you're going to cut this. Okay, so you're going to cut that out of that piece of paper, unload the mat, take it off, put the next piece of paper in exactly the same place. The other thing that you need to take note of, and I do this automatically now, is I line it up against the ridge on the right hand side. So when the mat's going in, it lines up to there. There is a slight tolerance on the left. Now when you're doing something like this, if you get it out, you're going to see it, because your picture isn't going to line up all the way through. So you need to make sure that A, line it up against this ridge at the side, and B, make sure that you always put your paper in the same place. And then you're going to cut that out. So that will give you your back piece. So you'll do one with just a square, which will give you your full picture. This one will be your next one coming forward from the back. And then when you've cut that one and you've got your other piece of paper in, you're going to ungroup that, tap the screen to release the shapes and make that circle bigger. Now it's up to you by how much. I think I did about 7 mil. Yeah, probably about 7 millimeters. So you're going to make the circle bigger, which will then make the hole bigger, which will work. So you leave the square where it is, don't touch it, don't move the circle, just add however much more you want to that circle, and then cut your second one, then repeat, do your third one, repeat, do your fourth one, and repeat. It depends how many layers you want to do. So that's how you line up your pictures. Okay, so that makes it super, super easy. But this, having this little notch at the side, that little lip there that you can line your mat up to, makes a difference. It might only be a millimetre or so, but it makes a difference. Right, I'm going to come back, just give my mouth a break for a minute. Said that, I'm going to recap. Right, Lily, what am I recapping, love, please? We can start off with Cool Jewels, absolutely. So, this is what we're working with today. How cool is this? I have to show you this as well. So the wondrous shelving that we do as MDF, I got rid of the shelves on Saturday. Look at that. And she's on that little slider. Hopefully we're getting those dies back in this week. Look at that. How cool is that? Lights in there in a kiddie's room, that's going to be fabulous, isn't it? That's a great night light for Christmas. Love that. Right, so let's investigate flurry, frosty and snowy, shall we? Now these are going to look fabulous foiled. I would personally foil them in silver, just because you've got the cool tone of all the jewels in there. So you've got Flurry at the top, who's our little skater. You've got Frosty in the middle with her little lantern. And you've got Snowy at the bottom. I love the fact they've got rosy cheeks. Aren't they lovely? Faces are really cute, aren't they? You will get all your detail lines and your reflections and in reverse. You're then also going to get your scenes. So you can choose from any of these scenes and it will work in this particular way, the way that we're using it now. So that's cool. So you're going to get all of those. Then you're also going to get your pearl backgrounds, because they are like, you know, when you get flat back pearls, they look like that. Really clever. Really, really clever. Then you've also got your digi stamps in there, which I'm sure our Lily will be colouring in at some point or other. Top tip for white, actually. If you want to make something look white with an alcohol marker, put your blending solution down first. So go around, just round the bottom, round like there, round here with the blender first. Then go in with either the palest green that you've got or the palest blue. And it will give you that look of ice, but it needs to be really pale. And putting the blender down first means that it takes some of that colour out, so it makes it really, really pale. That's all you need for white. It's really cool. Then you've also got your reflections. These won't be relevant to you because they're for die cutters, but you will get your reflections for your SVGs. And then you're also going to get these lovely characters. Now, if you do want to put these on a gift bag or a box or a present or a card, and you think, oh, actually, they're a bit small, you can make that any size you want up to A4 in Minecraft Studio. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see height and width, and it will give you something like 17.9. So resize the reflection outline in Canvas to that exact measurement, because if you just do it on your ScanNCut, it'll say 74, not 74.2. You need that accuracy. And then your reflection file, that individual cutting file, you'll be able to lay over that and have them in all those different sizes. That's the joy of having Minecraft Studio and your ScanNCut together. So if you want all of that little lot, prices on these are great. Shop Jewel, $14.99 for all that lot. Now, if you fancy adding in your stickers, love these stickers. Honestly, this was a revelation when we found these. So Stephanie was buying some in, and we're like, wouldn't it be great if we could do our artwork with that? Imagine all the 2 red robins on that. You can imagine, can't you, all the conversations. So Stephanie then decided she needed a machine. That was it. We were having a machine. We were printing our own stickers, and we're going to make it a trend. So couldn't find it anywhere. Becky went home, researched it with her lovely husband Ryan, and they found it. And the factory that they made them is right over the road there, literally. I know. Talk about aligning. This is brilliant, right? So that is going to get you, Shop Cool will get you that for $12.99. Right, Berry Cozy? Berry Cozy next. These are lovely. I think these two together would work really well. Do you not? I think these would be great together. The bears watching the snow people. Snowmen? Oh, I don't know. You've got to be careful, haven't you, nowadays? I don't know. Crazy world. Rusty, Teddy and Wally. Emily always smiles at me when I have a bit of a rant because she's young and I'm not. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Right, this world that we live in is mad. Everything's abbreviated. Have you noticed that? The whole world's abbreviated. I don't know what that means. Right, characters. I love these because they're like traditional teddy bears, aren't they? I love the fact that we've gone for those more muted colours with them. I think it makes them timeless. So you've got your 3 little characters in there, Rusty, Teddy and Wally. You've then got them in a second colourway within your Minecraft Studio, which means that when you download your files, you will have a second colourway to print, and it will show on your download. Then you're also going to get the digi-stamps in here as well. You're then also going to get your scenes Quite like these. They're quite grown up, actually, for teddy bears, and I like that. But you could have the teddy bears trying to skate. That'd be hilarious. And then you've also got your plaids, tartans, whatever you want to call them, in there. So that lot is Shop Digital, $14.99. If you want the stickers to match, so if you buy these stickers and the the Cool Jewels stickers, you can go on the website before you check out and choose another one for free. How cool is that? It's brilliant, isn't it? And I'll tell you what, if you look at these two sheets, I don't think we could cram much more onto them. Can I just say that? Look at the amount of artwork you've got in there. Now, for die cutters and for ScanNCut users, these are brilliant, because if you want a little teeny tiny bear right in the background, there he is. Isn't that fabulous? I love that. So shop transfer, we'll get you those for $12.99, blinking heck, right? Mel, quick question. What font on ScanNCut would make a good stencil? All of them, actually. I know that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But I did this when I was off poorly and I had to go for my angiogram. And when you do an angiogram, they release the cuff slowly because they've cut into an artery to get the wires up to your heart. So I'm sat there after the decompressing it, and I'm there designing stencil on ScanNCut. But what I worked out was, if you take any letter and you find an appropriate place within that letter, so for example an A, I would do it vertically down the middle, and you make a rectangle slightly taller than the letter and as narrow as it will go, and divide it, it will split that letter, which means it was either divide or remove overlap. I'll have to have a look this afternoon, but that splits any letter and it makes them all usable for stencils. I know, try it. It works, it's clever. Right, Heather says, hubby off work today, so watching on big telly whilst having a coffee and a fudge donut. Happy bunny. Nice, Heather, I like that. Mel, quick question. Oh, that was the font one. Love this, Mel, but we'll have to rewatch because of interruptions. How rude, lol. I know, right? Christine's, well, that's the whole point, you see. We put the repeat shows out and then you can watch it, can't you?
And you can watch on YouTube at any time.
And you can watch it. Oh, I didn't know that. Can you?
Oh, yeah, they're all saved on YouTube. Every show we've ever done.
Oh, every show we've ever. It's all in the communication, isn't it? On your last day working in the office, you decide to give me that golden nugget of information. Every single show that we've ever done will be on YouTube. So you can go and watch it back like a class. Hi Mel, what GSM have you used for the frame, please? I used 250, but this, which it says is 220, and I don't believe it, because I made the lantern out of it the other day. This will be perfect, your black card, because it will. You need it to be able to fold and score nicely, but you need it to have that rigidity, and that dovetail joint makes that really strong. Really strong. I did one and I actually put the Pro Cut on top of it and it didn't move. It's brilliant. It's a really clever mechanism. I have 2 Christmas fairs booked and I'm going to make the box and the tunnel one. Yes, Pauline, love that. Start again. I've noticed when cutting, my mat has a tendency to belly a little bit. This affects how mat layers fit together. Just wondered if you have any ideas why. I do. It means you're getting ready for a new mat. So 2 things. Make sure that your lever on the side of your machine, if you've got an SDX, is down on 1, because sometimes that can happen. But on the back of a mat down the left and right hand side, you've got almost like, it feels like a very fine sandpaper, and that's the grip that the rollers take the mat into the machine with. Once they, because every time it goes in and out, it's doing that on top of that area, so eventually it's going to flatten it, and when it flattens it, the compression of those rollers make your mat do that slightly. I've got it on the one that I'm using right now, and occasionally it just does that, and it just means it's gone thin on those areas. So that's kind of when you need a new mat. So that's that one. And then another question, please. Can Mel explain how to use X-Y axis for cutting the images using the silhouette way? I don't know what that means.
Pauline, message again.
I don't understand that question, Pauline. Can I explain how to set the X-Y axis for cutting the images using the silhouette way? Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that, Pauline. Can you message back in, love, please? Thank you. Right, vinyl next. Now then, this is a deal and a half, guys. Please don't miss out on this. This, for personalisation at Christmas, is going to be brilliant. So your sentiments for your Christmas cards, your sentiments for your gift tags, your place settings at your table, all of those different things that we're going to use our vinyl for. This is a brilliant deal. Shop Casa, $17.99 is going to get you 10 sheets of your holographic 12 by 12. This vinyl is incredible quality. It's lovely. And you also get a bonus sheet of transfer tape. You're then also going to get 15 sheets of matte black with a bonus transfer sheet. And then you're going to get 15 sheets of white with your bonus transfer sheet. I think this holographic was $19.99 when we launched it, Andrew, wasn't it?
Yeah, on its own.
On its own. So for £2 less, you're going to get all the black and all the white and the holographic and those transfer sheets before you discount. Mad. Please don't miss out on that. Shop Casa, $17.99. Anything else, Lily? Oh, all good. Right, come on then, let's go. Right, so once you've got all your pictures, you're going to then put them into your book. Okay, so this is the bit where you've just got to be a little bit patient. Okay, and it's important that you're patient. So we're going to put this one down the back like that because I want to strengthen this. Now, as it drops down, it will sit behind that first concertina at the bottom. Okay, then you're going to take your next one, so the one that you cut first, use the smaller circle. That's going to go into there. Now, as it drops down, you can see there, that wants to go at the back and this wants to come at the front. You need to make them both go in the same place. And then you're going to push it down like that, okay? Don't worry about lining it up with your concertinas yet. That can come later on. We're not going to worry about that bit yet. We're just going to get the papers in place. There we are. That's better. Right, so we've got our two now. Now, if you just wanted to do two, you could stop there if you wanted to. But being me, I'm all in. If I'm in, I'm in. Right? I'm going to leave a gap. Am I going to leave a gap? No, I'll go down the same one. And again, you need to make sure, can you see how it wants to sit there and then it wants to pull itself backwards? Don't let it. Push it in. Show it who's boss. Right, let me just take that one out again. This is the bit where you have to be a little bit patient, but it's worth it in the end. You get there. That's it. Dropped in. Next one. It's going to come in here like that. And again, we're going to make sure that the left-hand side is going in the same on the right-hand side. And then your largest one, I'm going to do in the second one going back like that. So now we've got, I'm going to pop you in there, please. There we go. Knock it down like that. And there is your concertina picture. How cool is that? Good that, isn't it? Right, now then, next thing we need to do is put this top bit on. Now, if anything's going to make you throw it out the window, it'll be this, but please be patient with it because it's worth it. So, now we've got this bit. I'm going to try and do it this way so that you can see. That one's going to go on the outside. Now, this is the tricky bit because you've got to get those triangles and those pieces of paper inside those triangles. This is the hardest bit because you've got to line it up on both sides. And I'm not going to tell you that it's easy because then when you find it frustrating at home, you'll be like, well, Mel didn't find it frustrating. Believe you me, it is a bit, but it's worth it because it gives you this really strong dovetail joint. Right, best advice I can give you is get it in both sides, and you will fight with it, there's no doubt about it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say you won't, because you will. And then you're going to start to press this down. So you can see it wants to keep popping apart, and it will. That's naturally what it will want to do. But once you get this, that's why I'm out there, just keep checking the notches on the sides, And once you get it down, it looks amazing, and it's super, super, super sturdy, but it does want to pull apart. Right, let's see if we can do it this way. Let's get that one in place like that. Let's get my tweezers and hold that there. This is where you kind of need another pair of hands. And then we're going to do this. When you print black image on Minecraft Studio, couldn't you put a box around it and use that to line up colour? Well, you can if you want to spend the time lining it up and making sure it's in the right place. Absolutely. If you used a template of an A4, you could. But to be honest, it's quite easy to drop those designs in. Yes, you could. If that makes it easier for you, yes. So what our graphics team have to do, sorry, I'm trying to do a million things at once here, aren't I? What our graphics team do is they have the rectangle on the screen where they position the artwork in place. It's not quite that simple. Oh, I've got to go because I've got to go next door to Jane, and I've just realised, and that's really annoying because I wanted to get this done. When we come back tonight at 6 o'clock, this will all be done, right? Because I'm fighting with it. Okay, I've got to go through that wall. See you in a bit. Bye.